Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. We weathered through some storms last night. I don't think they made them to your area. Were you
We had Saturday we had like a bunch of rain and then snow and then rain again. Yeah.
snow?
It started off raining and then it turned into snow for a good portion of the day and then it ended raining
Okay.
and all the snow was gone by like Sunday morning. So that's what we got this weekend.
Okay. Well, as my hat tilts because I'm like snow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got our second question. We have got some
Yay.
momentum going. So I love this because we really, like I said, like we tried to say last week, we want to make sure we're serving. So
Mhm.
here's our question. So, one of our viewers asked, I'd love for you all to do an episode on when it's time to make your coaching practice a separate business. There are a lot of moms out there becoming coaches, but not really sure when it's the right time to open a separate checking account, get a separate credit card, etc., or even when it's time to incorporate. So, let's tackle the checking account and separate credit card first.
Mhm.
And I say that this would be my advice. When you are suspecting and you're starting to do the research of opening a business, so let me use me for an example. When I knew that I wanted to become a coach and I wanted to go through the certification process, I opened a separate account just for it was still in my personal name, but I called it my coaching account. And I
Mhm.
started paying my expenses out of that account. And I had a dedicated credit card because I knew if I started bringing in money, I'd want to know what my expenses were to offset that money. And it
Yeah.
just made my life easier. So, from an easy standpoint, I would say as soon as you think you know you want to open a business, go ahead and set up a dedicated checking account and have a credit card sitting there waiting. That's all you use it for. Now, your take.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I agree with you to have those established as soon as possible. The question you will have to ask yourself, and this is part of her question, is are you wanting to create an LLC? And
Mhm,
if you are creating an LLC, which does protect you, in the event that something happens with a client, it can separate your business assets and other things from your personal assets. If you think you want to have that level of protection, you do want to make sure you set up that LLC with your state so that you have that LLC approved, and then you can put that company name on the bank account, on the credit cards. Otherwise, if you're just operating as a solopreneur without an LLC, then your name is going on those various accounts, but there isn't really a separation between the business and the personal.
mhm.
So hopefully that clears it because I get a lot of questions about that. Like, what's the difference between personal credit, business credit, and you have to have a business entity registered with the state in order for there to be separate
Mhm.
credits.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I didn't. So the questions you need to ask yourself, because I get this, do you do an LLC? Do you incorporate? Do you stay a solopreneur? The question that you need to ask yourself is there a way anyone can ever sue me for the advice that I'm giving?
Mhm.
Because that's what's at risk. If your if you stay
Yep,
a
it's a very
solopreneur,
good question.
your personal assets, your house, your car, your bank account, that is what it's at risk. So, for
Mhm.
me, I didn't form an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. So Jennie Ebert's Coaching LLC is its own entity. So if a customer gets upset or is not satisfied or wants to sue Jennie Ebert's LLC, that's what they're suing. They're not suing me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't set that up until I got some momentum going. So
Mm-hmm.
I kept myself as a solopreneur because when we first start out, we're coaching mostly friends or friends of friends. And it wasn't until I got some momentum because there's expenses involved in setting up an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out as a solopreneur first. And then once I got momentum, then I went to my attorney and did my LLC.
Yeah, and that's really important. And everyone does it a little bit differently. I have business owner clients that as soon as they had a business idea, they immediately ran and got an LLC, established that, and that way they just started that level of protection. Myself, I don't have an LLC yet. I'm just a solopreneur. My situation's a little bit different than some, coaches or other business owners out there. But yeah, everyone comes across it differently. So if it's important for you to have your business on those accounts, that's something you will need to establish before you can open said accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're fine just having your name on those accounts, then that's something you can do pretty straight away.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really, it's hard to give a concrete answer because it depends and it depends on your unique situation. But just know once you establish an LLC, a partnership, incorporation, any of those, there's another tax return. There's quarterly filings that have to be done. So there's more involved in that than just being a solopreneur.
Right. Yeah, and it's always important anytime you're thinking about starting a business or thinking about the things involved with that. It is important to get professionals involved, to talk to them. There's a lot of really great professionals out there, business lawyers, things of that nature that can help with answering questions about establishing an LLC or becoming an S corp or any of those kind of business designations, and then also speaking to a tax professional on the tax side of it. Because I've also seen a lot of people ask about quarterly tax filings. When do I have to start doing that? I might get fined if I don't do that. And so making sure that you're asking those questions up front so you don't find yourself not doing what you're supposed to be doing and potentially paying fines and other things is really important.
Yes. And something that I have a lot of friends that call and say, the state is wanting me. So I'm in Texas. So every state is different. So let me
Mm-hmm.
speak on Texas. They'll call and they're like, they're wanting me to file my quarterly LLC, but I haven't made any income, like profit yet. And it's like, yeah, but you still have to file.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, so you're so right. Knowing exactly what this means going forward. I mean, it's like I hear a lot of people say, just set up a trust to protect your money so you never have to pay taxes again. Have different feelings about that, but that's another tax return as well.
Right.
And I don't think people realize when you're doing these types of decisions, there's a little bit more involved than just saying, I'm a trust. And the thing to always remember is if you're setting up a new tax ID number, like an EIN, that means there's going to be some government filing you're going to have to do. That's usually the rule that I give people.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important to know those things and to talk to the right people, do your research. As Jennie said, every state is different. So it is important to make sure that you're paying attention to the instructions and the rules and regulations for your particular state. Usually the websites for the state are pretty helpful. I know in Colorado, a lot of the business owners I've worked with say that the website is very helpful in showing you exactly what you need to do to file, to request, to do all of that stuff. And it's fairly inexpensive in a lot of states to kind of do that yourself. Other states it can get complicated, and that's where some like business lawyers come in, and it might be easier to have them kind of do the filing. So just be aware of that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to use your own judgment when it comes to that, because I am dealing with money, and I went ahead and went to a lawyer because I needed to make sure I was protected.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all individual. So to recap, to make your life easier, you want to do it sooner than later, separating any kind of income and expenses, but just know you're not going to set it up in your business name until you have that separate tax ID number.
Correct. Yep. And then one other professional that a lot of people don't think about incorporating, and a business lawyer can do this, but I also know a lot of estate lawyers are really helpful with educating around the veil of an LLC. People just assume that they create an LLC with their state and they're protected, but there's other documents and other things that have to be done to keep that separation. And if those things aren't maintained, there is no separation. So if something does happen, that veil is pierced and they can go after your personal. So you do want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and understanding all it takes to have things of that nature.
Yes, and having a good contract that your people sign is also another layer of protection. I mean, even just calling a lawyer and saying, "Hey, can you look over this? Have I done this? Is the wording right?" You want to make sure that you tell them if there are some legal issues, where we're going to negotiate this, which I'm making everybody come here to Texas. I might change my mind though. If there's somewhere fun and pretty, I might be like, "No, I'll come to you."
Yeah.
No. But your contract also has another layer of protection. So it's not a bad idea when we're getting into business just to have a couple of professionals in our pocket. It's not going to cost you that much. And you might even have a friend that has a friend that would do it for next to nothing. But the more you can do up front, the better protected you are in the end.
Absolutely. And you will thank yourself if you ever come across a situation that you did all your due diligence at the beginning and separated everything and all of that stuff, because we want you to be protected. We don't want to see anyone have to go through the burden of potentially getting sued and having mixed accounts and all of that stuff. So
yes.
Yeah.
And once you start having money in your account, you're covering your expenses, and it takes some time to get that ball rolling. Don't forget, set aside a certain amount for your taxes. Just make it like a recurring bill. It's an automatic take it out and go stick it somewhere to let it earn a little bit of interest. If you oversave, great. That's just another coaching class or something, that continuing education that we can take, already sitting over there waiting on us. And do not forget to pay yourself. I mean, we are all worthy of making money and paying ourselves.
Yes. Absolutely. It's so important, and something that I tell all of my business owners. It is hard when you're starting off. Maybe you have to take on some debt to get the business started. You might not see profit for a little bit, whatever else. But if you haven't read the book Profit First, it's something I recommend to all new and early business owners, or even business owners that have been around for a while but still have a problem with paying themselves.
Yeah. Or at least get that coaching program or continuing education. I mean, that is also paying yourself because you're investing back into yourself. So just make sure that you're not just working and not reaping any of the benefits.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Bring on your questions, guys. Bring on your questions. We
Yeah.
love this. This is fun. We're serving the way that we want to. So that's all I have. Did you have anything else?
No, I don't think so. But good luck to the people out there that are starting up new ventures, whether it's coaching or anything else. I mean, I love seeing more and more women creating businesses and realizing the flexibility of owning a business and all of that kind of stuff. Does come with its trials and tribulations. It certainly isn't all sunshines and rainbows, but I'm sure you can agree there's a freedom in having your own thing, being your own boss, having that flexible schedule, and really being able to cater to the people that you want to help the most.
Yeah. I mean, it's hands down the best decision. Yeah. I couldn't imagine going back to another job. But even if you decide to stay in another job, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, not at all.
There is a different breed of us that put ourselves through this, but it is challenging, but also so rewarding at the same time. It's like raising kids,
Yeah,
right? You know,
yeah,
it's the same
exactly.
thing.
People have full-time jobs with a side business, and that is an amazing thing to do. You've got more security that way, you've got more flexibility, all of that good stuff. And maybe there is a goal to have that business be its own thing someday. Maybe it's always meant to be kind of like a side thing. And there's no right or wrong answer. We just want to see everyone out there succeeding and reaching the financial goals that they've set for themselves. So,
Amen, sister. Amen. I think that's the best place to leave it.
yep.
See y'all next week.
Bye.